right, hello everyone and good evening. Today's March 13th, 2024. We are starting our Traffic and Pedestrian Safety Committee for the month of March 2024. And I'd like to ask the chair, is it okay if I start the meeting and continue? Please do. Oh, thank you. All right, for the next slide and item number 1, I'd like to invite everyone to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. For the next slide, item number 2, I would like to begin a roll call, please. I'll just go down the list. Member Collins?
Present.
Member Doyle?
Here.
Chair Dunham-Sims?
Present.
And Vice Chair Moriarty?
I'm here.
I'd like to say that on behalf of staff Sanjay Mishra, KJ Madayag, and myself, Mia Hubner, are here in his place. On to the next slide, item number 3. I would like to begin the approval of minutes. I'd like to ask, do any members here have any comments or revisions of the last minutes for February? No? Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve last month's minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Anybody want a second?
I second.
All right, thank you. I guess one more time, I'd like to go through. Member Collins, do you approve?
Aye.
Member Doyle?
Yes.
Again, Member Dunham-Sims?
Yes.
Again, Member Moriarty?
Approve.
All right, thank you. For the next slide, I'd like to move on to item number 4, committee member reports. I'd like to ask the committee, do any of you have any new reports for this period? No? All right, thank you. Again, item number 5. I'd like to open up the floor for citizens to be heard. I don't know if we have any calls today. Okay. For today, I don't have any calls in, and there are no people here. So, there's a caller? Okay. How do we... would the caller like to speak? Don't have anything.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Hi, I appreciate the time today. I just have a couple of quick questions, I guess. One, my daughter actually used to go to Pinole Tiny Tots, and I had requested, there was actually no security cameras or anything within the Pinole Tiny Tots, which is governed by the city of Pinole. And I'd asked Maureen for a while, and we had the city manager also look into it too, but there are basically no security cameras or any security measurements, and the facility itself is deteriorating. And it's been about 6 or 9 months, but I followed up many times and there's no feedback. That was number 1. See if anyone can take an action item and look into that, please. Number 2 is, are there any plans for the city to have a recreational center for the residents itself, a gym or some sort of swimming facility or whatever, so that we could have something for our families here, which I don't see other cities have it. And number 3, actually, I live right next to Pinole Middle School, and there's no pedzing or any signs for the vehicles to slow down, and there's vehicles that make illegal U-turns, and it's a big problem. Hoping that no one will get injured or harmed. So I would appreciate some attention to that as well. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your call and your comments. We'll definitely talk about these internally. We have a second caller. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, we hear you.
Hello?
Hello? We
Yes,
hear
can
you.
you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to, my name is Anthony. I'm a longtime resident of over 40 years, senior citizen, taxpayer in the city, and have a few items that I'm concerned about regarding our public's health and safety. I echo the last gentleman's comments about security cams, and I brought this up several times in the past, and in fact, a police officer there. Now, is there a police officer there? Because in the last few meetings, there was no police officer available to address or answer some of these questions. And then they didn't seem to want to take the time out of the meeting or the day, or at least give me back my 3 minutes of time with some answers, if not investigate and get back to me. They know who I am. They have my phone number. They have my email, and so the city isn't very transparent about sourcing the answers or addressing the answers and questions. Under the Brown Act, you can direct the staff to investigate, and or you can schedule it for an agenda or discussion item in the future. But very little of that has been done at any level, from the city council to the TAPS to the planning commission. Case in point, the security cams the gentleman brought up, I had mentioned several times that the police made a big report on that several years ago, and an officer got up and said, we have 30-something security cams in and around Pinole, and most of them, or a lot of them, are on the Appian Way Fitzgerald corridor, which granted is one of the worst corridors aside from San Pablo Avenue, and thirdly, Pinole Valley Road, as far as traffic violators, speeders, red light, stop sign runners, hit and run people, you name it. And so at that time, he mentioned there's 30 some odd cams, but only 17 of them or 15 of them were operable. Can we get an update on that? And why can't we get all of them operable? And then what's the ramification if we can or cannot use them to press charges on these perpetrators coming into the city and tearing it up? Not to mention sideshows. And on that point or question of sideshows, I would like to know if the city of Pinole has a statute addressed, or the police department, regarding sideshow violators, because they had 1 or 2 sideshows in the last year, and they seemed to drive off because the police said they couldn't do anything. They're literally, pardon the pun, handcuffed. All they needed was write them a citation, but they didn't even do that, and they had the license plate. The bumper and the license plate was underneath the I-80 overpass for a few days after they tore it up and tore up the road there one night, shooting over a dozen rounds. And then other cities are impounding the cars for 30 to 60 days and are looking for 90 days with fines up to $1,000 or $5,000. And I think the city of Pinole should visit that and be proactive. And as well as the streetlight outages, again, we still have a problem.
Pardon me, your time is up. You can have another 10 seconds, please.
The streetlight outages still persist up and down Pinole Valley Road from one end to the other. And they say it's a work in progress. Well, I don't see any work and I don't see any progress. And that was, quote, the city planning director's remark with regard to when it was addressed with Mr. Mishra. So we need an update on why they can't get the lights to work, and the roads are dark at night up and down Pinole Valley Road, and a couple on San Pablo Avenue down below Sugar City corridor there. There are two in a row there on the bay side. And when are they going to repair that bridge work railing that was demoed?
Okay, thank you for your comments.
on
Your
Pinole
3
Valley.
minutes is up, and we need to move on.
Thanks again for your comments. We'll definitely, unfortunately, we don't have a police officer here today, but we'll definitely pass all of your comments over. I can open the floor if you guys have any comments to respond to these. Otherwise, we can discuss internally and move to the next item. Okay. Again, thank you for the comments, everyone. For item number 6,
Sir, I had one,
yeah.
just as far as having a police officer present, I don't know where we're at on that. It's something that used to happen always, and now it doesn't happen. And I think we brought it up at last meeting or so.
We did, and I saw in the one of the emails from the city that the police department had appointed a traffic officer, so or they're going to fill a traffic officer position at some point. So hopefully, when that happens, that person will attend the meetings. I mean, that would be the best case scenario, I think.
Yeah, they notified us that the Pinole Police Department recently appointed a traffic officer whose primary responsibility was enforcing traffic laws throughout the city of Pinole. And this this message went out to everyone who showed up to the public forum at the Pinole Valley Middle School. So one of the purposes of this new position is going to be help to control traffic on Man Drive during pickup and drop off. So the people are being listened to, and steps are being taken.
So can staff maybe check in with the police department and see if that traffic officer is
Yeah.
going to be attending the meeting?
Okay, I'll definitely touch base with the police department and see if the traffic officer can come by for more meetings, or all of them probably. But yeah, we'll look into that, and we'll update you guys for the next meeting. All right, we'll get into item number 6. The following items will be related to traffic and pedestrian safety issues within the city of Pinole. We will start with the next slide, that some issues that have been submitted by the citizens. We've received 2 emails, which you can see in detail in the agenda packets. The first email was asking for an enhanced crosswalk system and upgrade the signs at Pinole Valley Park in order to obviously increase safety. And the second item, they requested to add an ADA ramp on the corners of Amen Street and Man Drive due to potential to a fall. Are there any comments or anything related to these items?
Thank you for bringing that up, and I reviewed them, and I think that Director Mishra responded to the emails, and hopefully staff can conduct a survey or assess if warrants or justify those changes, but I'm definitely in support of the city looking into those. Thank you.
Next slide, please. So for this slide, we have one update to item number 3 in the list of traffic issues discussed previously and their status. For issue number 3, Wright Avenue and Carroll Avenue, the vehicles do not stop at the stop sign. The city has procured 2 solar-powered LED blinking stop signs for this intersection as a pilot project, and installation will be scheduled by April 2024. Next slide, please. There are no updates on this page. Next slide, please. For item number 12, issue was crosswalk visibility on Pinole Valley Road and at Savage Avenue. A design contract has been awarded for this item. And the item number 13, enhanced crosswalk visibility at San Pablo Avenue and 3rd Street. For this, we've also have a design contract awarded. Item number 14, enhance the crosswalk visibility at San Pablo and Quinnen Street. We, again, have a design contract awarded for this item. If we could move to the next slide, please. For number 18, issue number 18, I should say, drivers don't stop at Terra Hills and Kildare and Shawn Avenue. Staff has provided comments to the ATP to explore possibility of a separate bike lane or lane reduction for traffic calming. The next slide, there are no updates, but before I move on, are there any comments or anything from the committee, please? All right. I heard that we have a caller with comments.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the time again here. I'm going to make it very short. Sanjay, I wanted to thank you personally for taking the man driving on Main Street where I live ramp seriously. My neighbor fell and broke her arm, and then I also have kids too, and we have had many struggles with the strollers there. So I really appreciate that personally for taking this up. Second thing is also more importantly, on children's safety here, Pinole Middle School, if there's anything that could be done to put a sign there or cars to reduce down and make U-turns and illegal U-turns, I think that would be really appreciated because it's a big safety concern for a lot of people who live there. So if somehow we could bump that up in the next agenda item, whatever, later on meeting, I would personally appreciate it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you again for your comments. Any comments regarding the call today from the committee, please? Okay. We have another caller. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we hear you.
Yes, 2 comments on your agenda items of the ADA and the signage question issues on ADA and signage on Pinole Valley Road. On a related ADA note, the public and myself are still waiting for a response from the TAPS, if not Mr. Mishra, and maybe the city attorney needs to get involved too regarding the ingress and regress for the ADA access on Pinole Valley Road and Granada Court, opposite, I believe it's Shea Drive there across the Caldwell Banker Realtor building. On that corner, it's been reported several times by myself and other members of the community, half of the sidewalk ADA in the yellow ramp is obstructed by 2 large telephone poles tied together in the middle of that ADA crosswalk with duct tape and wires. And it's been like that for several years now. And the only response we got from the city over a year ago or 2 is that, oh, we'll look into it. and we'll find out who's responsible for the repairing or fixing that pole to clear way for ADA. And I found out, and some other people did look into it, the city didn't tell us, that it's AT&T or PG&E's pole. So I believe it's AT&T. So somebody from the city needs to pick up the phone and or write a letter on our letterhead to get AT&T to come out and fix or finish the job they started over several years ago, because that's a direct ADA violation, as well as the ADA violation that Mr. Jim Tillman has asked Mr. Mishra about, and neither one of those were responded to us as a member of the public at the Lucky Store up on Fitzgerald Drive, why they have to lock the left side main entrance door almost morning, noon, and night, 24/7 over the last several months now. Whereas the other Lucky Store in Hercules, both their doors work and are open, and they lock it for security reasons or whatever, but it's not our fault or somebody's fault. They can't hire a security guard up in that shopping center, or the police can't put a beat cop or two out there other than the one police officer we have running around up on Fitzgerald Drive, that we have major problems with crime and so on. So those are the two ADA issues. And the last issue was we need better signage on Pinole Valley Road. Like they started the signage project on San Pablo Avenue, and they did a pretty good job spotting some traffic signs and other things in the medial strips, but they haven't done anything on Pinole Valley Road, which is the second or third highest traveled corridor next to San Pablo Avenue for our citizens. And they need to put, directional signs, reflector signs at night.
Thank you.
so
Your
people can
time
do
is
that.
up. Could you wrap it up a little bit, please? Thank you. Again, thank you for your comments. I've noted all of them down, and I will carry them to our Public Works team. And if we can provide updates in the following meetings, we'll work on doing so. Are there any comments from anyone else on some of these items? Oh. Okay, I'd like to move on to item number 7. Staff updates. If we can move forward one more slide, please. All right, as far as the CIP projects, we haven't closed the Appian Way and Marlester Road intersection project yet. It's fully operational. However, there are still a couple of minor punch list items that we're working with the contractor to finish completing. And once those items are wrapped up, we can begin the closing process of that project. Next slide, please. Currently, we don't have some development projects under review yet, so we can go to the next slide, please. For the active transportation plan, a citizen engagement committee meeting was held to discuss comments and data that we've received so far. Again, as always, the ATP website is a valuable resource to check out, the www.walkandrollpinole.com. But with that being said, I'd like to invite everyone to Earth Day on April 20th. The ATP will have a table there. So if you have any more comments or questions, or if you just want to get involved, please stop by at the table and see what you can find. It'll be, again, Earth Day, Saturday, April 20th at Fernandez Park from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
I had one comment about the ATP. I'm glad to hear that there's going to be tabling at the Earth Day. That's great, and this is a great venue to let people know about it. As far as the public outreach for the active transportation plan, I know we've had a number of pop-ups, and going forward, I know we're going to have, I think, 2 planned public workshops, and I just wanted to make sure that when we know when those are, that we tell people about them at this meeting, so we make them as widely known as possible. And I don't know if the survey's still up on the Walk and Roll Pinole website. I assume it would be, because if we're still doing public engagement, that would still be open. I think it's a great interactive map. And just wanted to comment that I went to the website today and it was down. So if we can make sure that the consultant keeps that website both turned on and up to date.
Thank you for your comments. I definitely will reach out to someone to see about putting that back up. Are there any other comments for maybe some of the items I just passed through, maybe a little too quickly?
I thought at one point there was a plan discussed to have the active transportation plan kind of laid out here in this committee, or proposed for feedback and review from the committee. I don't know if that is still coming or the plan has changed, but if it's possible, I think this is a great venue to lay out what proposals there are and give an opportunity for public feedback. We'll hear about it for sure after it's implemented, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's obviously completely related to transportation and safety. So I think we can add that to the discussion about maybe somehow incorporating more of it here. And like Mr. Moriarty said, you know, advertising more of, you know, the workshops and what have you, so that we can have as much interaction as possible. I do think we have a lot of good interaction so far, but more wouldn't hurt. If there are any more comments? All right, thank you. Can we move to the next slide, please? For grants, unfortunately, I don't have any further updates for any active grants at the moment or any grant applications. If there are any comments for that, I was happy to take them. All right. For item number 9 on the next slide, I guess I'll take it to the committee. Do any committee members have any requests for future agenda items, or are there any future agenda items on your radar?
I'd like to propose a future agenda item, which has come up several times over the years, and that is updating the name of the committee to include bicyclists in that name. The last slide covered grants, and I know some of the grants that are available in the state and the county have a lot to do with the bicycle community and bicycle safety and safe routes and bicycle lanes. So I'm not sure the process on how we would do that, if we make a recommendation to the full council or if it's something that we do here. But I'd like to see if there's support to update the name of this committee in the city, so we include bicycle or bicyclists in the name. And then my second point is that just a reminder, and I don't know if this is the case or not, but when the city approves contractors or whatever for to put up no parking signs for road work or anything, or construction or anything like that, that there be a stipulation in the conditions of approval that the person putting up the signs doesn't put the signs in the middle of the sidewalk. Which is the case that's going on right now in Ridgecrest and Marlesta, with some plumbing digging that's going on over there. So I assume the city has that in their conditions of approval, but if not, maybe Director Mishka can add that in, because it's pretty obstructive to the sidewalk. Thank you.
I had one comment about the name change and including bicycle in it. I know we talked about that, and it might have actually, and we approved it, and it might have even gone before council and gotten approved. I mean, it might already be done, and it might have just not been implemented, so it might just be a matter of going back and seeing if council approved it already.
We've gone through several steps, and I believe everyone was in agreement, and there were several iterations or ideas of what the renaming should be, and then it fell off our radar for a while. So I don't know if we all need to put our thinking caps on and come up with the new name to discuss, or if it's somewhere, in the minutes past that we could look it up and see. Because there was like I want to say there were 3 options that somebody proposed of a name change for us.
Yeah, I recall that we had 3 proposals, and we made a recommendation to the council, and I don't know which one they selected or if they changed them altogether, but then that might have been at or the tail end of the COVID time, and this group wasn't meeting regularly, and so there's probably a justification for the drop-off, but just to circle back around, I think it's time.
All right, thank you guys for your comments. I think it might be all right. We can reach out to council, see if that moved or didn't move. So on your behalf, we'd like to check out the progress on that. And then as far as the signage, we'll definitely look into that. We definitely have rules in regards to, what ADA space should be left open for pedestrians, don't interfere with bike lanes, et cetera. So if it's a matter of us just checking it out and enforcing it, then we can look into what we can do about it. But other than that, if there are no more future agenda items, Chair, would you like to adjourn the meeting? If there's no other items, please.
Let's adjourn the meeting to April 10th, 2024, 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.